This is the first of a series of webinars, videos, short sessions on the Regnum Christi Communications principles. There are 10 of those principles, and today we'll be talking about principle number 1, everything we do communicates. To put this in context with the other 9 principles that we'll be examining in future sessions, we want to proactively communicate, be positive, respectful, be transparent, tell the truth, listen, maintain a dialogue with others, put our family first when we communicate important news, make sure our own people learn first, effectively communicate with others within the church, maintain our personal relationships, be catalysts for changes in the culture, be professional, and collaborate with our international offices, our many territories around the world, and finally, respect the nature, the possibilities, and weaknesses of the various communications channels that we have available to us. Preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words. St. Francis admonishes us, and I'd say that Pope Francis does a pretty good job in this very important area. The Pope understands the difference between showing and telling. Telling can get a certain level of communication accomplished, but when you show people, you model your behavior, everything you do can communicate and evangelize. Holy Father had a session in August where he talked about children being our greatest blessing. And he said that every child who begs on the street, who is denied an education or medical care, is a cry to God. Indeed, beautiful words, important words. He also shows us. He shows us in his outreach to children, embracing them, holding them, hugging them, showing them how much he loves them. So much more effective than just words. He had a Google Hangout with disabled youth in May, and he talked about communication because he said when you communicate, you give the best you have inside and you receive the best from others, and that's very important. When we don't communicate, we stay alone with our limitations, and that's bad for us. But he also showed us how much he cares about the disabled, and especially young people. His actions speaking so much louder than his words ever could, and a great lesson for all of us. Our actions can be catalysts for good, or they can be terrible weaknesses in our ability to communicate effectively with others. What happens if the department head says, Tuesday's meeting is vitally important. I want everybody on the team to be there. And he shows up 15 minutes late. Or a superior at one of our communities says, having our meals together is vital to building community in our house. But he's too busy to join the group maybe half the time. What about a locality leader who says, we work in communion with the local church, but it just never seems like the Regnum Christi youth are available for activities in the parish? Or what about the director of a department who says, employees are our most important asset, just before a 20% staff reduction? Sometimes our actions not only can be negative, but they're so at odds with our values that it hurts our ability to effectively evangelize. But the opposite can be so true. Early in my time working for the Legion, I had a disagreement about what action should be taken on a particular issue with a young priest, and I told him, I said, Father, I don't think this is the right thing to do. And he said, well, I don't agree with you. And in fact, I've already told the territorial director what I thought we should do, but I think you have a good point. So call the territorial director and tell him you disagree with me and make sure he hears your viewpoint. That action had a huge impact on me, not only in my relationship with that young priest, but also in understanding the humility to listen to the views of others and be open to them. I know a legionary at the time, head of a seminary, who had a construction project with the brothers at the seminary. One Saturday, they worked all day, digging, pounding, nailing, doing all the work they had to do. And at the end of the day, they made dinner. They were exhausted. And their superior said, guys, just go to bed. We'll do the dishes in the morning. We all need rest. But when they came to breakfast in the morning, the dishes had all been done. The pots and pans were all scrubbed and put away. And they realized the superior had stayed up and done the work so they could rest. Servant leadership, a great example where action spoke so much. I know a priest who was a superior at one of our communities a few years ago, and he got a call one Friday evening, a rather desperate call from a Regnum Christi group in a distant city who said, Father so-and-so was supposed to be here tonight because we start a retreat in the morning. And the superior looked at the schedules and the calendars and realized, uh-oh, we have a scheduling glitch. Father isn't going to be there. In fact, he's away. That superior drove all night and gave the retreat on no sleep so that the Regnum Christi members in that locality wouldn't be disappointed. That was an action that spoke so much. Everything about that communicated love, sacrifice. These days, I'm in a job where I actually work for a number of people, and I have one boss who is very demanding, holds everyone on the team accountable, has us all fill out reports about where we are in our various projects, very organized, but no more demanding on any of us than he is on himself. He's the first one with his report done, the first one to ask for help, the first to say when he's having a problem with a project and needs help. That example is a great example to the rest of us on the team. And through our behavior, reflecting our values, our faith, our belief, we truly can evangelize. We can preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, we can use words. Thanks a lot, and God bless.